my bowl of cereal, I just moved into my new apartment, and what better first video to film here than a big old rant about greedy companies making me want to put my pirate hat back on. Is that good? Envision yourself 14 years ago. A new game just released and all your friends at school are raving about it. So once school's out, you rush home, ask your mom if you can access your saved up holiday and birthday money. But guess what? It's empty because you just had to buy Portal 2 and that one game that really made you feel like Batman released earlier that year. Plus you already took out a loan on your next birthday for Uncharted 3 that just released. So that was out of the equation. Defeated and $60 short, you open a Google tab on your family shared PC and type in how to get free, download free every game $0. And next to your tab for how to improve your English grammar. And that's the first time I pirated. And now I got to play Skyrim for free. Now, to anyone already typing up an angry comment about how I didn't support the developers, I was 12. There was no way I was getting $60 out of nowhere. That's like 5 trillion adult dollars adjusted for inflation. Plus, by now, I've bought 3 different versions of that game, so I've more than made up for it. However, I do have yet to make up for the huge piracy addiction that ensued. I mean, a 12-year-old holding the power to use every piece of software, play every game he wants, listen to every song, watch every show and movie his heart desires while still having money to spend on candy? Where do I sign up, please? Especially back when you had to pay like $80 a month for cable and every single movie had to be purchased separately on a $10 to $20 disc, or you had to pray to the cable gods that they'd randomly play that movie on TV. And oh my god, don't even get me started on TV shows, where if a new season of a show you loved released or you missed a season, you now had to spend $120 on the DVD box of all prior seasons to refresh your memory, and then another $40 if you wanted to add the new one to your collection, except if you wanted the entire collection to fit in one themed box, in which case you now had to spend another $180 on the updated box set, including all 5 seasons. At that price, I expected at least a little meth in my Breaking Bad DVD box. Luckily, I just pirated Breaking Bad. Of course, once streaming services became a thing and people could choose when to watch what without having to deal with ads for like $3 a month on a shared account, no torrenting, no sketchy downloads, no more searching for what webpage you should visit because the last one you used is now banned in your country, no pop-ups or pills to grow your penis. Actually, I didn't want to refill my prescription on those, so if anyone still has a link, please put it in the comments below. Many, including me, didn't really see a reason to pirate anymore. Plus, I always did feel bad for not supporting the creators behind the products I was consuming. I mean, you wouldn't download a car. But this way, I could support them, even as a student. Hollywood finally had a consumer-friendly option to fight piracy. From 2018 to 2019, services like Spotify made music piracy decline by 22%. In 2016, it was found BitTorrent declined to just 5% of internet traffic, while Netflix alone rose to 35%. Heck, even back in 2012, a movie's piracy rate would drop by 11% when Netflix premiered it on their service. But that was then. We're now 8 years later, and I'm paying for my full price video games, which apparently I don't even own, my Spotify subscription, which just went up 2 months ago, and my 24 different video streaming services, each trying to see how far they can push me into the endless void of losing my shit. So now if I want to afford all that without having to resort to using payment plans when ordering a burrito, I have to do brand deals. This video is sponsored by Raycon. With Raycon Everyday Earbuds, you can listen to your legally acquired media wherever you go.
Arg, I'm a pirate. Arg.
No,
Arg.
get away. Yeah, pirate noises during my ad reads? Really? Oh, real mature. I'll just put in my Raycon Everyday Earbuds with their active noise cancelling. With their ergonomic design and optimized gel tips, they fit comfortably and securely in all ear sizes all day long. Partly because of their 32-hour battery life, so you don't have to worry about them falling out or dying on you. And even if, after 10 minutes of charging, you're back to 90 minutes of battery. I've had them about a year now and they're perfect for listening to music as as I'm moving into my new apartment. So go check them out at buyraycon.com/soggy to get 15% off Raycon's best-selling everyday earbuds. They've been a sponsor of the channel for almost a year now, and I really appreciate you guys for supporting me by checking them out every time at buyraycon.com/soggy. Thank you Raycon for sponsoring, and now let's get back to the video. But most people can't just do a brand deal. They have like a tough job, or student debt, or are kids who rather invest their monthly allowance into V-Bucks. So and now, after almost a decade, games have gotten more predatory, and streaming services have gone from the most consumer-friendly service to just a slightly better yet more confusing option than cable. It's not surprising that internet piracy is back on the rise compared to the 183 billion piracy visits in 2018, which, by the way, was decreasing compared to 2017. But by 2023, however, visits soared back up to 230 billion, thus increasing with about 26% over only 5 years of people starting to tell these companies that they can suck their dick. From just 2019 to 2025, most major streaming services have more than doubled their ad-free basic plan prices. Netflix increased theirs from $8.99 to $17.99. Disney Plus went from $6.99 to now $16 a month. I mean, at least they gave us Loki and Andor, which is one of the best written shows I've ever seen. Can't wait for their next good entry when I'll be paying $32 a month. Apple TV was $4.99, now $9.99. Thank God I only need that one for like 2 months every 3 years whenever a new season of Severance drops. In fact, the only major streaming service where the biggest change made was their name instead of their pricing is HBO Max. Max, just Max, my bad. Oh wait, no, it's back to HBO Max? Which is another thing. It's not just a price increase people have an issue with, it's the fact that while paying more, these platforms have become less consumer friendly and confusing as shit. Maybe I'm just a dumbass, but when I first got Netflix, it seemed like this all-encompassing hub, which had everything my heart needed, no matter if it was a Netflix original product or not. Better Call Saul, Stranger Things, 20,000 episodes of The Walking Dead, an endless catalog of terrible horror movies to fall asleep to. Huh? What's that? It's just a garbage screaming. Well, fast forward to just a few years ago when I wanted to binge my then favorite show, Mr. Robot. First, I had to connect my VPN to German servers because it wasn't available on either Belgian or North American Netflix. And then my luck had it that in the middle of my binge, they removed Mr. Robot from Netflix entirely and was now only available on Amazon Prime. So now I not only had to keep my Netflix subscription running because I was still watching new seasons of Sex Education and Stranger Things with my girlfriend, I also had to get Amazon Prime to continue Mr. Robot, which after finishing, I then forgot to cancel my Prime sub, and by the time I finally realized my bank account was being drained, Invincible Season 2 released. So naively, I thought I'd just let it run for 1 more month, but then they ended up doing a 3-month mid-season break, which I feel was intentional. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos! Then of course, because I have the brain of a child, the darker themes of Invincible made me want to rewatch grittier superhero movies like Zack Snyder's Justice League. Thus, I had to get an HBO Max subscription as well. And yes, I do see the irony in the fact that this all started wanting to binge Mr. Robot, a series critiquing limitless corporate greed. And I'm not alone in this because even though streaming, along with literally everything in the world, more than doubled in price, on average, people now feel the need to have 4 video streaming service subscriptions running simultaneously, compared to just one much cheaper one 8 years ago. Now they're spending an average of $69 a month on streaming services, which would be a really funny number if we weren't subtracting it out of my bank account every month. But I will say, for the people who want to watch sports or don't want to spend their entire lunch break getting lost in between their 4 different streaming services and still not finding anything you feel like watching, and rather let television decide for you, don't worry. You have YouTube TV, which is basically just like cable, but without the box rental fees or DVR fees, or those hidden fuck you, we hate every single one of our customers fees. And it's only $34. In 2017, now that shit costs $83. That's $3 more than people spend on average on cable back in the day. Like, what the hell, man? And that's without any of the add-ons. You want more live sports? Well, that's $11 extra. 4K? That's an extra $10, baby! Exclusive NFL content? Don't worry, we've got you covered with a discounted $23 add-on. If you're a new user, loyal customers can pay $31.5. Yeah, we've got our own fuck you, we hate our customers fees. Keep in mind, almost none of this is on-demand content. Most of this is broadcast television. I actually did a little bit of calculating on the total YouTube TV price. Now, if you want every add-on, excluding the exclusive NFL content, since that alone can run up to $480, YouTube TV can reach up to $563 a month. I don't think any cable package was this expensive. And best of all, is that you're still being served ads on both YouTube TV and YouTube.com. Because this still doesn't include YouTube Premium, which is yet another $14 a month. So with all this, it'd be pretty hypocritical of me to go from pirating games and DVDs when I was younger and couldn't afford them to now that I can, saying, actually, you shouldn't do that because it hurt big company shareholders. Yet I do have difficulty completely condoning it from the perspective of wanting to support the creators of a piece of media who are already pulling the shortest straw at every turn in this industry. It only seems like yesterday when Hollywood writers and actors went on strike for the blatant predatory situations they were being put in by the studios they work for. I mean, main reason I pay for everything now is to support them, the creators. However, at the same time, I feel like piracy is a way for the consumer to also strike against the same studios. And with how consumer unfriendly things have gotten, the industry might need some pushback. But my opinion doesn't really matter when apparently even though newer generations want to pirate, they don't know how. Don't get me wrong, I'm not speaking for the entirety of Gen Alpha, and it might sound contradictory because they are by far the most technologically immersed generation. I mean, 40% of them owning a tablet by the age of 2, rising to over half, 58%, at just 4 years old. But this brings several negative consequences with it, such as brain rot, lower attention spans, not knowing how to hold a pencil in 4th grade. And one of them, according to experts, is surprisingly that they're actually less tech literate than millennials and Gen Z. Because 20 years ago, while less advanced, tech was still pretty rough around the edges, often requiring deeper insight to use devices efficiently. Compared to today, where companies have refined every popular device, polished them with the goal of mass adoption to drive more sales, to the point where besides some basic settings, all there is to it is just understanding UI interaction. There is no deeper knowledge needed to use my iPhone 16 or a tablet. PC operating systems have become much easier to use than the dusty Windows 98 I grew up with. So now from the moment Gen Alpha has to do something a device wasn't directly designed for, they struggle more than their preceding 2 generations. Which isn't that big of an issue with video streaming, since these days you can simply pirate everything in a browser without the need to download anything. Although this isn't the case with software or video games, which still requires you to torrent responsibly. But with how deceptively predatory many AAA games have become when it comes to monetization strategies marketed to children, I feel like kids should have the knowledge on how to fight back. I mean, we don't really own our games anyways. And if paying $70 doesn't give us ownership of our games, then pirating isn't a crime. However, please don't pirate from consumer-friendly or indie developers though. In their case, I personally think you should just pay for their games as positive reinforcement and sending a message to the industry. Same thing with software, by the way. I know I've been ranting for a while now and I can feel myself losing some steam. I think the slow death of consumer-friendly options for media consumption was just making me feel pretty passionate about this topic, because it gave me the option to limitlessly enjoy media without requiring rich parents, and I believe every child should have that opportunity. But also, I don't want the Belgian government up my ass, especially now they've started to silence Belgian YouTubers. So, pirating bad? You wouldn't download a car, and you wouldn't illegally pirate a font in the very same ad campaign telling people not to pirate? Oh wait. I guess they do condone it.